So a slightly longer video to my last one, explaining how I've fitted my Samsung Galaxy Tab Active 3 to my 2022 BMW R1250 GS Adventure, with the intention of using the Thork Racing Drive Mode Dashboard 2 software, as well as MRA, Google Maps, etc. So the very first piece of the puzzle is at least for me anyway, is the SW Motec 12mm bar mount, which I've had to mount. On the pictures you'll probably see this sort of tilted with this piece sort of pointing downwards, which works, but it does mean once the actual cradle is fitted that it sits too low and obscures the TFT. So I've chosen to actually rotate this so that it has a better angle. So looking at it from the side, it's just 4 bolts, which you might be able to see under there, which are in there. So very simple to fit. They've been thread locked because they do have a habit of working loose. No idea why. And then this is the central piece that actually slides in. The next piece that we're going to need is the other part for this, which is the actual mounting plate, which has what I'm assuming is rubber vibration damping parts on it. So this supports the, I think it's called AMPS 4-hole pattern, which I think means you can fit pretty much anything, a TomTom, a Garmin, etc. So this is going to go here. So I'll just do that now. It's just 2 bolts. Haven't needed to thread lock those. They tend to stay quite tight. So this piece goes on with the 2, I think they're 4mm Allen heads. Nope, 3s. Let's get these started. I was actually right the first time. They are 4s. Anyway. Right. I have this in the lowest angle it can be because any higher and I find I get reflection from the sun. It's nice and tight. Right, that's that part done. Okay, so the next part we need to do is we need to actually bolt this, which is the ram mount cradle, which is a powered cradle. Inside the bottom of this, because this isn't strictly speaking waterproof, if you take those 2 screws out, and you can fill it with a gel, it's called, I think it's Raytec Magic Gel 3000 or something like that. I'll put a link for it. I can't take credit for that fix. Another chap on YouTube posted about that, which I'll put a link to as well. But to stop water ingress, I've filled the bottom of this. I'll stick a picture in. To try and keep any water out, and I've also put some ACF 50 on the pogo pins, which apparently is a bit of a weak spot. Some people have said that they've actually sort of slightly removed this edge piece just in case they ever need to charge via USB, but I'm hoping I'll never need to do that. So far it's been fine. So this essentially is going to be bolted here, but because of how low it sits, even with the SW Motec mount turned right round, I'm actually going to mount it upside down. So that's what I'm going to do now. Also, for mounting it to the ram mount, it comes with these screws and nylock nuts. I've added a couple of washers because the threads can sometimes sit too far, you know, through here and actually poke through. I think it all depends how thick this plate is. So I've added a couple of washers, which seems to make sure the threads don't actually poke through there. So this is probably the most fiddliest part of the entire job, holding the nylock nuts inside and actually getting the screws through. Now what I've found is the screws need to come through on these top and inner holes for this ram mount anyway. So let's try and get the first one through and just get that started, and then we can worry about the wiring afterwards. So get that in there, get the thread started, which it has. Leave that for a moment. Get the next one in. And then get the screw in there. Get that started. Right, once that's started, we can tighten those up a bit, just to stop it moving around too much. I'm not going to go fully tight yet. That's what she said. Still a bit of play in it there, that's fine. Get the next one in. Which I can't because I've been an idiot. Because last time I did this, I did it with the mounting plate off the bike. So yeah, don't listen to what I said earlier with regards to actually tightening these two screws up. Apologies. Right, let's try that again. So let's get these ones through. It would actually have been easier to put the adapter plate onto the ram mount first. So yeah, don't do what I did. Put this mounting plate onto here first. I mean, it can be done. It's just a little bit more fiddly if you're an idiot like me who thought he'd be clever. Right, I'm going to get these bottom two tightened up. Okay, and then I'm going to tighten up the top two. Alright, now we can tighten up these two 4mm screw, 4mm hex head screws. Okay, that's that. So that's the whole thing mounted now. So all we have to do is tidy up the wiring. So for the wiring, it's a bit hard to try and film and do this, but essentially The RAM mount comes with a micro USB, which I'm a little bit surprised at. Male and female at sort of this point, which obviously isn't going to be waterproof. I don't really have a clue what this plastic piece is, but I've used it and some electrical tape to basically try and do everything I can to keep the any moisture out. So what I'm going to do in a moment is I'm basically going to cable tie this so that it sits, it helps if I point the camera, effectively there. So it's out of the way, and then the wiring follows the original BMW route down to the waterproof USB socket. Well, I say waterproof, it's been fine so far. So let me just do that now. So wiring done. Okay, it's never going to win any awards, but it's all hidden away from sight, so I'm not anticipating it to cause any problems. So this is the actual mount. It's all done. It does probably look a little bit there like it's going to actually impede seeing the TAFT, but when you're riding it, just about these little bits here just about eat into the top line of the TAFT, which isn't a problem because I only really look at that for fuel. But if you're a shorter rider than me, then maybe you won't notice you know, at all. So all I need to do now is put the screen on, which I'm sure most of you know how to fit a GS screen, so I'm just going to do that part now. Oh, and before I do, just to get the angle, so this is tilted down at its lowest and this is slightly slightly off center. So yeah, that's how it's mounted. So this is with the screen refitted, and as you can see, it just about misses the screen, and we can go down with the screen to its lowest, which is where I normally have it, and we just about have enough clearance. So yeah, there's not a lot of flex in this screen. I've got the Cymark screen strengthening brackets. So yeah, that is the entire install. It does look slightly like it's on the tilt, but I can assure you it's not. Right, okay, so mounting the tablet is exactly the same as it is if it was mounted the right way up, except the pogo pins go facing upwards and it just locks in. So once it's in, well, I can unlock the tablet and we have the drive mode dashboard 2 you know, running. I've probably covered about 100 miles with this on, 0 issues with sort of charging, and actually that does look slightly tilted, which I think is probably the 4 screws that mount this. There is a tiny bit of rotation in it, so I'll loosen those and just move it a little bit, otherwise that's going to bug me. But essentially that's it. I recently rode it, I think I had about 57% charge on the tablet. I rode it because I know apparently some people have had issues with them not being able to charge fast enough on the pogo pins, but I started with 57. I got to my destination with about 70. The first time I rode it, I took it out with about, I think I had 99% battery, and it went to 100, stayed at 100 and was 100 the whole time. Haven't tested it in rain or extreme heat yet, but that'll come later. So yeah, that's everything.